Okay, I hope this is working. Hello to anyone watching live or the replay. I am here. My name is Suzan and I want to welcome you to my channel. I have been away, of course, again, but I'm back. So thank you for being here. If you're watching live, and hopefully you can hear me because I don't know how this is going with the setup, but I'm hoping for the best. So I want to hop on here and talk about astrology and human design. These are the things that I'm really passionate about lately, specifically, and that I've been studying like crazy. And I want to bring this to you because I feel you can really use the information to empower yourself, to empower others, and hopefully to live a better life, right? That's what we all want, don't we? Especially in these times that are really tough, really dark. We are in very dark times. We are still in a spiritual war. And hopefully that doesn't scare anyone, but that's where we are. And I want to start with, where is the moon today? So let's look that up. Today, the moon, right now, the moon is in Pushya Nakshatra, which is the star of nourishment, which is really auspicious to start anything new. And I didn't plan this out, but this is what we have going on. It's great to begin new things. It's great for teaching. It's great for education. It is a nourishing nakshatra. Nakshatra means asterism. It's a star constellation that we use in Vedic astrology. So let's start with Vedic astrology and the type of astrology that I do. Vedic astrology, but using the tropical signs and sidereal nakshatras. I just feel it works better. It works better for me when I do readings, when I look at people's charts, and that's what I like to use. I've used all different types. I have learned all different types of astrology, from Mayan to Vedic astrology to tropical astrology, all types. And now I'm into human design. Human design has a portion connected to astrology, but what human design is, it's a synthesis of astrology, the I Ching, which is the book of changes, 64 hexagrams, and that can get very technical, and we're not going to go through that right now, but hopefully in the future I'm going to be talking about each hexagram in the I Ching in regards to human design and how that can benefit our life if we know what we're doing with it, right? It's very mechanical, and it can really benefit us to find our true self, or to not to find the true self, because the true self is always here, right? We're just not living from the true self. We're living from the not self according to human design. And I love using human design with tropical Vedic astrology because they go really well together. And the reason I want to do that, or like to do that, is because I want to be able to give concrete, tangible things that you can actually use right now. And human design offers that. Human design gives you those tools, right? And the tools are really simple, but they're really hard to do because it really deals with deconditioning ourselves in order to be the true self. But because we have so much conditioning, which starts from birth, and if you believe in reincarnation, it starts from God knows when, right? Because reincarnation means you're incarnating over and over again. And so you bring in past imprints into this lifetime, which is why Vedic astrology is so important to learn and to practice, because we get to learn about karma and our ancestral karma. That's all part of the Vedic astrology system. Whereas the human design system is a really beautiful way to understand energy. It's a binary system, so it's an on-off switch. It's a true self to not self. And so because of the conditioning that we all have from birth, we're living as the not self mostly. And so in order to have a better experience in life, we want to get rid of the not self, or not get rid of it, but really master it. We want to master ourselves, essentially. And so I haven't noticed a system that allows you to do it as fast as human design, because of its simplicity. And I love simple. I love things that actually work and work fast. Because it's simple does not mean it's easy. So do take that into consideration. The simplicity of human design is based on following your type, strategy, and authority. So in this system, it really teaches you to hone in on your inner authority, if you have it, right? Now, it takes time to trust that inner authority, because we haven't been used to like using that. We've been used to like giving the power to the mind, right? And whenever we do that, we are acting as the not self, because the mind doesn't have the capability and the capacity to know what to do in order to have a better life. It just sees possibilities, which is great, right? If you're writing a book, it's a great thing to use your mind, right? Your ideas, great thing to use. Not to live your life, not to make choices. The mind will always lead you wrong, because it doesn't understand that it's supposed to just observe. It doesn't want to lose control. It wants to be in control of the life, but it's actually not in control of the life. It's not in control of the life. The life is in control of the life. So if we're making decisions based on the mind, we're doing it wrong. But you can believe anything you want to believe, and that's what's so beautiful about life, right? We can believe anything we want to believe. We're all having such a subjective experience in this life. Hi, Christina. So we're having such a subjective experience in this life. We're all living in our own bubble. It's true. We have these perceptions, right? And they're based on conditioning, based on our childhood for the most part, right? And the way, if you believe in reincarnation, if you practice Vedic astrology, you believe in reincarnation, right? And if you know about reincarnation, then you know about samskaras, right? And so you bring in these imprints into this lifetime, and you do it over and over again, right? Because we're in that karmic wheel, which deals a lot with the nodal axis in both systems, which is amazing. So in human design, there are 4 types. You're either a projector. I am a projector. You're a generator, or you're a manifester, or you're a reflector. And based on those types, you get to know what strategy to follow, right? So for example, a projector has to wait to be invited, to be recognized, really, to be recognized for the true self, the aspects that make you unique, right? The other thing that I love about human design is that it's a science of differentiation. that means that as we're moving into the Aquarian age, it is a system that's allowing us to move through this cycle, to move through this wave. And it helps people, right? It helps us know what is true for us, because what is true for you does not mean it's true for me, right? Because we're having a subjective experience. And I actually brought a little tool to explain this idea, right? So can you see that? It's a prism, right? I love staring at prisms, right? It's a light catcher. And the beautiful thing about a light catcher, a prism, is that it really allows us to understand perception, right? Because if you contemplate on the prism, first of all, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at a star. And I love stars, so. But if you're looking through a prism, you'll see that you can only see it if you're focusing in on one of the shapes, the geometry. You can only see the world. So your world view will be based on that focused attention, based on that geometry, right? And in my opinion, right, the soul is a geometry. And each one of us, right, is having a subjective worldview based on our geometric shape, based on our point of view, our focus, our attention. So knowing human design allows us to go back to the basics, if that makes sense. But it's not an easy thing to do, because we've been living thinking that we have to be a certain way, comparing ourselves to others, judging ourselves and others, right? Believing that we are separate from each other when there is no separation in truth, right? Energy doesn't really separate. It can seem like that from our view, from our perception through a prism, right? But it's actually an illusion. And humanity is highly delusional. And hopefully it can rewire and retrain its matrix in order not to be that way. However, this is a binary system. Human design is a binary system, but also the universe, or how Ra Uru Hu, who brought in the information of human design, called it a biverse, right? Because it's a binary system. It's a dual system. It's a yes, no, true, false, you, me, or I and other. The binaries. It's all about a binary. Female, male, masculine, feminine. It's all of the binaries. And the reason we have binary systems is so we can balance ourselves, to balance our matrix, to balance each other, right? Because the more balanced we are within ourselves, without judgment, right? Without attaching to outcomes, without attaching to anything really, when we're balanced within ourselves, we can balance others. It's really interesting how that happens. And it does happen. And the thing with balancing ourselves is that we can go back and forth between balance and imbalance. So a trigger, right, comes in and we become imbalanced, right? If we're not centered, we become imbalanced. The trigger is a stimulus, right? And it's asking for a reaction, but it's really a mirror, and it's showing us an image of ourself, right? And it's showing us some wounds within ourselves. And so we can talk about shadow work another time. And I actually have a video about that if you want to check that out. So we're in the prism when we're having this life experience. The thing with life is that life wants to experience itself. And I don't know about you, but I believe in God. I believe that's the only truth, right? God is the only thing, nothing, right? It's not a thing. It's everything. And yet it's not a thing. And we can't really conceptualize God, but we do try, don't we? We're experiencing it based on our point of view, and that point of view is part of God. Does that make sense? Our perception is part of God. So how could my perception be any better or worse than your perception? It can't, based on that logic, right? It's all part of the whole. And so it's all perfect as is. And in my opinion, it's all a normal progression. It's all a normal evolutionary progression. And we can judge it. We can judge it. We can judge ourselves. We can judge each other. But that doesn't change the fact that it's all God and it's all within God. And there's nothing but God. And God is the only thing that's true. Without a second, right? It is the only thing that is real, and it doesn't even need a perception, but it has us, right, to perceive. Great. Okay. So if you're a generator in human design, you are here to work. You have energy, you have sustainable energy, and you can work so much, right? And you don't really get to go to sleep until you let go of all that energy that's within you, because you can't, right? And if you have insomnia and you're a generator, it's probably because of that. By the way, if you're a generator, you can be a straight up generator or you can be a manifesting generator. The manifesting generator is a hybrid between generators and manifestors, but it's really in the generator type because it has the sacral defined. And I'm going to hopefully do a video about each one separately because I don't want to do these very long. But I want to thank you for watching if you're here live, right? And if you are watching the replay, I want to thank you for that too. And if you have any questions, please post them because I would love to do these videos based on your questions because I need that feedback so I can actually produce something that's of importance to you. Otherwise, why do these, right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Bless you, and all my love to you.